So do you own a Toyota Hilux Surf or maybe a Toyota LANDCRUISER with a sunroof, and when it rains you get a very wet butt? You find water leaking down from the top and all. Maybe you think that you have a bad seal. Maybe you think you have a bad gasket. Or maybe it's more simple than you think. And the problem I have is I hate driving this when it's a wet, rainy day. And I have procrastinated for a while to fix a problem that I already knew what the solution was. Let me show you. So up here around this top in here, there is a gutter made all the way around that edge in there. And right down in the corner in here is a little hole, and there's a drain tube that goes down the corner post of your vehicle, comes down inside behind this kick plate. It comes down inside behind this kick plate, goes out through a hole down there, and comes out under your vehicle. There's one on each side. And sometimes it's as simple as you can get up there and find that little hole up in the corner right down in there. Let me see if I can get up there and show it. You can see it right down there. See it right, light shining? There's a hole right down in the corner there. And that is your drain tube. And there's one on each side here in the front. And this whole thing's made like a gutter around the edge. Normally what has happened is they have got plugged up with debris. Maybe particles of leaves, dirt, and stuff have built up over time and plugged that hole. It could be as simple as taking a small piece of wire and not being too forceful. You don't want to damage that tube inside, and maybe just lightly cleaning, or if you got a little small pipe cleaner, or you may want to take an air compressor and a little bit of air and blow out down in there, and do a little test run. Get you a little cup of water, not too much, just a little bit, pour and see if the water runs out from underneath. Another thing you can do is find the tube under the car. It's going to be right down here behind the wheel, right down at your rocker area here. You'll see a hole there. You may be able to check and see if the bottom has got plugged. Maybe mud and all has got up in that area and packed it from the bottom. Same thing. Take a wire, gently try to clear it through and see if you can get the water to run through. Now that's normally what's happened. Another thing could be that the hose has become dislodged, and maybe it's got old, it's aged, it's cracked, and it needs to be replaced. So it may be leaking around where it slips onto the little nipple that sticks out off of that gutter. Well, to do that, you're going to need to take your sun visors off. You're going to need to take, if you've got any kind of little center console or lights there, mirror, and your grab bars here. You're going to need to pull all that off, these pieces of trim that are around the edge and up your doorpost there, and let the edge of this headliner, let it down, and you will see right up in there where that tube is. Now, today for me, what's happened is when I got in there on mine, I tried to clear the hole and try to blow from the bottom up and all, and I just noticed that somebody's already been here before. Prior to me on this vehicle, I could tell someone had been here before. So I dropped the headliner down, and I found where they had put a lot of goo around there. Apparently it had been dripping around the hose because the end's a little flared. But then, look at this, as this hose goes up. I've got this rolled up, let me unroll it here. So then, look at this as this hose goes up. But then there was black tape. And there was a little reduction of a hose slid inside of a hose. But then go on up, and there was more black tape. And there was another reduction of another hose inside of a hose. So it went from being a big tube to a little tube. And even though this tube was clear, water would not hardly pass because it was reduced down too small, and it was just a small little drip trickle. It could not carry the volume that the original tube could carry. Look at that. So I'm about to make a trip up to the hardware store. I'm going to see if I can find tube the original size, see if I can get it fed back down and solve this problem once and for all. I'm doing a truck repair. Somebody did a patch job before. How you like that?
And then?
I need to find some rubber hose that size.
This is the biggest one.
Yeah, but I don't need it. It can't get too big.
No?
You have any clear hose? You have any clear hose like this?
Okay, let me see.
So this is what was originally on it and reduced down small. And I think if I upgrade it to this size right here, I'll definitely get better drainage out of my sunroof. They reduced down, you see, reduced, and rigged it down. I think I'm gonna bring it up. What do you guys think? I think that should do it. That should definitely allow for more flow, don't you think so? I'm not that stupid. I just want to have a little fun with you guys. I did buy hose. Here's what I found. All right, prank was on you guys. Here is what I found. It appears to be about the same size. The inside diameter, it should slip up on there nice and snug. I'm gonna try that. Worst case, I might have to heat it and flute it just a little bit. But you can see the inside right there. This should work pretty good. We'll see how this goes. And I do have a hose clamp I put on there. Now I'm gonna tell you, that's a plastic nipple. So if you put a clamp on it, you don't want to go cranking that thing down super tight. You will crack that nipple. And nobody wants to deal with a cracked nipple. All right, so let me get this on here and see how it goes. And sorry, I just wanted to mess with you guys, you know. Gotta have a little fun, right? So here we are up here in the top. I've got the headliner dropped down. You can see someone's been here before. As I showed on the other side, they started with a large tube and reduced it, which really choked it down. And I guess they tried to put some sealer on that to keep it from leaking. A little small clamp with a light pressure, not too much to break this plastic, would have sufficed. Now you see I got a wire sticking through here. This wire has got two purposes. This wire can push through and clear anything that's lodged. If you have your original tube and it's clogged up, air don't want to blow it all the way out. Or if your tube is in bad shape and you need to pull a new one through and this tube is brittle, run your wire through that tube, so when you start pulling, you'll have the strength of that wire to help you pull a new hose through. Now I'll tell you, the reason I say that is because it is a little tricky getting up through this. It wants to snag on things along the way. So you might find that you need something to pull with. And maybe the original hose with something reinforcing like this wire through it will do the trick. Let me show you the end here. Double it over and pinch it down with a pair of pliers. That keeps the end of that wire where you cut it from wanting to grab and on to everything that it comes through, including when it's feeding through this rubber. It really wants to bite into the side of it. Like this, it just slides right on through. Also, get in there and check this little place. Look on the inside on this track, as well as right here. Blow a little air through there, or take a little wire and fish around and make sure it is clear and free of obstruction. So over here, little remnant silicone they had there, but over here you can see where I have already replaced it. It goes inside in here. I put a good clamp, which has got a thumb screw there on it to where maybe you won't over tighten it and break it. You don't want to squeeze too tight and crack this plastic. Now I don't know if they patched a crack right here or what. I really couldn't see one on the inside. I'm going to water test it before I close this up and see if there is any kind of crack there. right where I see this seam. I can't tell if that's just epoxy or if they've actually tried to repair. But like I say, if it does need a repair, I'll sand that, clean it up, and put a layer of epoxy on that. Not silicone, epoxy. There is a difference. I've already fed it down this channel in here, and I've already removed this kick plate, and it's going down where it can drain outside. So that is already done. So here I am. What I've done is first I shaved this hose off at an angle. That way it's tapered, it's less chance for it to bite and snag on things, and it'll slide through, because it is a little oversized maybe from the original. Next I poked a hole through it, and this is a braided hose, which is a lot better because it's going to be harder for it to rip out when I'm pulling. I ran this wire through there, tied it good, and now what I'm going to do is wrap this up with electrical tape, making sure that my laps are so that anything that it goes through, it's going to move downward, kind of like scales. So I want to start wrapping here at the bottom and wrap up to the top. That way the tape edge is not snagging on everything that it's going through. This tape also gives it extra strength when you're pulling. Little less chance of losing it. I'm going to go back down with another wrap. It's worth it to spend the money on a little bit of tape here versus losing this thing as it's coming through. So here it is. I'm going to make sure these wraps overlap so there's nothing for it to snag on. You can use anything else, petroleum jelly, anything like that will work fine. This one's coming through nice and smooth so far. It's almost out. A little hard pull. Little stiff there in one spot, but I think I just got it. Yep, it is done. It wasn't bad at all. Way better than the other side. So here it is. I got it through. There's a little extra there. I can cut it off. Once again, I can get a clamp on it. So there's that one all connected now as well. Going down the door post and back down to its original hole in there. Going outside, and just return this kick plate back. And after I inspect the rear ones, I put the headliner back up, put the center console with the switches, sun visors, the grab handles, and it will all be good to go. So the main thing now is I check those rear ones also to see if there's a problem. So as well, at the back of this has got like a little gutter, like a little tray all the way around. 2 drain tubes in the front, 2 in the rear. If you're parked on an incline or driving on a uphill slope, your water is going to run to the back. If that little gutter overflows, it's going to come inside on your headliner. But if those drain tubes are working in the rear, the water is just going to run out. So check them for obstruction and clear them if you can, or if you have to replace a hose, it's going to be a little bit more work to do the rear ones than the front ones. But you can remove this headliner down and remove some additional pieces of trim and get to it. I'm really hoping I don't have to do that on this, but I will be inspecting them here shortly. I've already begun taking some things loose to get there.